And we should be live. Welcome again, Michelle, Catherine, Anne. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me properly. So we've got 11 minutes before to start. We're just waiting for it. Let me know in the chat if everything is okay. And we've got about 10 minutes to go. So we're just waiting for everyone and getting to know each other as well. And if any of you are watching this in the future on replay, if you're not watching the live, but if you're watching it in the next few days, if you wanted to skip the hellos, if you want to skip the first 10 minutes, feel free to do so. We'll be kicking off in 10 minutes. And Matthew is here as well. Welcome, Matthew. And hello again, Catherine. I can see a plane. You can hear me? Good, good. And I can't hear you. That's probably good as well. And Tish is here. Welcome, Tish. And Laurie as well. Welcome, Laurie. So we've got a few minutes before to start. Let me check how many. 10 minutes. I'll show you the view. Can you hear the birds? I can hear quite a few birds. It's starting to look like springs with a few flowers, but it's actually freezing. Am I going on vacation again? No, there's nothing booked ever. I don't think I'll go anywhere apart from I'm probably going to Skegness for a job. Actually, I have a few locations in the UK for kids football photography. I don't know where I'm going, but that's for work. So nowhere massively exciting. I think I might be going to somewhere in Somerset for a photography job as well, netball tournament. But that's about it. Nowhere very exotic. We are in a little park here where we've never been before. It's a fairly residential area. We are in the borough of Southwark, just in Walworth. Do I work for a tour group? Laurie, no. Well, I don't really do any group tours where I go away on a coach. Well, I do, technically, but they keep sending me requests for places that I'm not trained to do. They just sent me one a few weeks ago for Scandinavia. I'm like, as much as I'd love to do it, I just don't have the knowledge. And sometimes they wanna send me to Liverpool or but I cannot do it. Like, you need to know where you can park a coach, and and you never know in advance if it's gonna be a British driver or a Belgium one, because when I do French, they could come from Belgium. And that's a nightmare when you have a foreign driver, because you have to tell them the life of Henry VIII at the same time as you're doing the sat-nav and telling them which lane to be on the road. So no, I don't do... I wouldn't mind doing those big tours, but if I had a better company to work for, or like someone that pays okay, and that actually sends you to places where you've been before. Am I ever coming to the States? Roberta, I should. I'm planning to go to Florida eventually because I have a good friend in Tampa. And also I have some dollars to spend Because as a tour guide, sometimes you get tips and sometimes you get tips in dollars, which is amazing. But what people from the US sometimes don't realize is that the American dollars, they are, they're made with paper. So they get damaged very quickly. And sometimes people write on them. And those dollars that are slightly damaged or that have a pen mark on them, you cannot change them anywhere. So you can only spend them. So I have to come to the US and spend them. I don't have much, but there's nothing else I can do with it. Arizona, I'd like to. And Mark is here. Welcome, Mark. So we've got, let me tell you, 6 minutes. And let me show you the view again. You get bored of my little face. So this is actually my local area. I live 5 minutes away from here on the bicycle. Welcome, Trish. So we've got about 5 minutes to start. We're just waiting for everyone to connect. And Sandrine is here. Welcome, Sandrine. Let me see. What did I do? Go away. What did I want to do? That's what I meant to. Yeah, 5 minutes to go. Sorry. So we are just above Burgess Park. Some of you might remember we've done the Old Kent Road about a year ago at the end of Hago. And we had a little walk in this area, but not over here. We were actually south of Burgess Park. So this time I've chosen the north, so we'll have a completely different experience. And we need to go and see a haunted pub as well. Mark, interesting question. Mark is saying on the Monopoly board this is the cheapest. Yes, so it was £60 when the Monopoly was created in 1935, I think it was the English one. It was the cheapest then with Whitechapel, and it's still the cheapest now. Actually, Whitechapel went up, Old Kent Road went down. Well, nothing goes down in London, but proportionally it went down. So it's definitely still the cheapest by far, very far. It is the only location on the Monopoly board that is south of the river. So it's actually much further away from all the other ones that are around Westminster and a couple in the city. And Mitzi is here. Welcome, Mitzi. So we've got about 4 minutes to go. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I've scheduled for tonight, 2 hours after this tour, we're going to be throwing the dice again from home. So we'll check which Monopoly location we'll explore next time. And Wendy is here. Welcome, Wendy. Let's see who I've missed. Hi, Suzanne. And Cheryl. Welcome, Cheryl. Did I miss anyone? No, I don't think so. And welcome anyone that I might have missed. The apartment, yeah, they have a nice view. You know what? When you are up there, you have a lovely view on the Shard. Well, not on this side, but on the other side. Yeah. I would buy here. So let me check minutes. So we have. Why does it keep doing this? Let me do this. 2 minutes. And yes, happy International Women's Day, everyone. We've got quite a few interesting women of history to talk about today. 4. Well, maybe 3. There's one I might forget because I didn't know she existed before to walk that street. So let's say 3 in case I forget her. I've actually just ordered a book about women of London. I went into the library to warm up because it was freezing, and there was a nice book, but I didn't want to borrow it from the library because I always forget to bring them back and then I get charged. So I've ordered it from eBay. £3. About interesting historical women of London. Have I recovered from the jet lag yet? Wendy is asking. Yes, I have. It took me, well, the jet lag alone, it took me a few days, but I was really bad first week. I'm 99% sure that it was actually because of a jellyfish that bit me the day before departing. So I had the jellyfish plus the jet lag. So I was not very well for a week, but after that, I was completely fine. From one day to the next, actually, I recovered. Hi, Linda. Monopoly was invented by a woman. Yes, exactly, Lizzie Maggie. She sadly had her idea stolen by men, and it was commercialized, making them a lot of profit, and not for her. But yeah, she had actually created the monopoly and the anti-monopoly. That was meant to expose. Hello. I had a little friend, but YouTube doesn't like kids, so. Well, pink hand waving pink. It's not that it doesn't like kids, but you need permission to film them. Right, let me see what time it is now. And it is 5. So it's officially time to go. Let me gracefully stand up. So welcome everyone. Welcome to those Monopoly tours. For the ones that don't know me, I'm Natalie. And if you don't know what we're doing today, what's happening is that I've been throwing the dice on the board at home, and I ended up on the Old Kent Road. So we'll have a little walk in this area. We'll have a look at property prices, and I'll tell you snippets of local history. And your teacher, you don't like kids either. And, sorry. And the Old Kent Road, we'll actually try to spend as little time as we can on the Old Kent Road itself, because it's very noisy, very busy. It's actually the A2 going down towards Kent. So we'll explore around the main road, but we won't stay on the road too long. If I could add any Monopoly location to the original Monopoly board, what would it be and why? I think I'll change one of the train stations. I'll remove French Street and I'll put Paddington. Paddington is better, busier, you have a canal, you have some interesting statues. So yeah, I'd put Paddington in there. Exactly, Mike, the cheapest property on the board. And, well, at least it was when they created the board, and now it's even cheaper. I've got a little graph with all the locations that have gone up or down since the Monopoly was created, and Old Kent Road, it's one of the rare ones that have actually gone down. Anyway, let me flip this and let's go. So we are in a little garden called Faraday Gardens, because Michael Faraday was born around here. So Michael Faraday, you probably know him because of his importance into science and into electricity. He was actually born around here in poverty. You know, as a boy, he probably did not have food every night. And as a teenager, he took a job as a book binder. So, you know, he was putting the books together, and sometimes he had to take those books at home to finish them. And apparently he was reading a lot of them, especially the one about science. And he was basically self-trained completely. Then later on, he took a job as an assistant for a scientist called Davy. And he was really annoyed with Davy's wife because she treated him like a servant when he was not a servant. Anyway, I've got a property all ready for you in that tower block here. It is a flat share. So you'll be sharing a flat. So it's a 2-bedroom flat. So it'll be you and another person. And it's going to be a monthly rent. So we're looking for a monthly rent. How much would you pay for 1 bedroom in a flat share in this tower block? Why does your video reset and start over? Oh, I have no idea, Katie. You should be able to move the little cursor at the bottom to go back to the moment where it's live. You find Paddington the Little Bear. It used to be, I think, Mike, but I think now they have some cool statues, and I like the canal there. You can walk to Little Venice, and yeah. So anyway, let me show you the photos. So that's the one. So bear in mind, you'll be sharing with a stranger. Ooh, Laurie, I think it's a bit less. To be honest, that's the type of property I would not look into myself, because as much as I live with strangers, I live with 48 of them. Linda, you're quite close. You're very close, actually. So I don't mind living with strangers, plural, but not only the one, because if it doesn't go down well, there's no witnesses, and I prefer to have at least 2 flatmates. And this one, it's a decent price for what it is, but the thing is a short contract. Apparently the contract finishes in, I think it's June or something. 650 says Laurie, 900 says Ash. So yeah, you don't know, the price might go up after the end of the contract. So let me show you. I think Ash, I think you're quite spot on. Let me show you the answer. There we go. Well done, Ash, and welcome. Well done, Linda, as well. You were very close. So 900 per calendar month. But they have a balcony, large living room to share, of course, and probably a lovely view. So that's Emma, per month. Yeah, for the bedroom itself, because obviously you have 1 flatmate to share with. All right, let me remove the photo, and let's go into Trafalgar Street. This lovely area, it's all made with Georgian and Victorian homes, so it's quite cool. And we had, let's see if you can guess. There's a fascinating woman of history that lived, yes, Emma, for 1 person, so the total of the flat would be 1,800, yeah, until June, then it might go up, yeah. It is the price. In this area, it's the price for something. It's actually not bad because they have such a large space. You normally rubbish. Well, you've done well just now. So let's see if you can guess. Trafalgar Street, we might have mentioned it before, because I actually consider taking you here, because there's a lady that you might know very well that lived here at some point. I'll give you a clue. She lived here with her husband, William, her dad, a blacksmith, her brother, and her first 2 kids. I think the first one died here, actually. Who could that be? I actually know people living to my right. If they come out, they'll be like, what are you doing? So who do you think that could be? A lady that we've mentioned in my tours before. A few times, actually, quite a few times. Who could that be? She lived in one of those little homes here. Those would have been built probably in Georgian time, but they were family homes. Since then, they've been divided into many, many different flats. If you want another clue, I'll give you another clue later, because for now, we have a property. Sorry. So there's a flat here. Apologies, I don't actually know which one, because they didn't publish any photos of the... Linda, yes it is. Mitzi, yes it is. Which one though? Which one? 600 a month for a 4-bedroom flat. Wow, Teresa, yes. Yeah, that's the thing about living in such okay, Queen Victoria, I know. So yeah, one of those, probably not the one I'm showing you, but they're all the same, and I didn't have a photo of the outside, so I don't know which one. It's to buy. It's a 3-bed flat to buy. Let me show you the photos. Where is it? So it's quite nice and new inside. Mark, it's a man. It's a lady, not a man. Oh, you mean the husband? No, it's not. No. Is she my favorite? No, she's not. No. Not that I really should have a favorite, but yeah. So, how much would we pay for this little flat? 3-bedroom, right here, and we're looking to buy. And it's a fairly average price for the area. How much would you pay? Bearing in mind, you're very close to Elephant and Castle, you know, you're in zone 1. She's not my favorite victim, but she's, I'll give you another clue, but guess the price first. Let's go with the price. Forget about my victim for now, let's go with the price. Are we looking to buy, Ash? Mark says 350. No, a bit more. Laurie says 450. Oh, Linda, you're so good. A little bit less, Linda. Genevieve, yeah, you're quite close as well. Tish, it's a bit less. 500k, says Teresa, it's a bit more. Yes, Emma, it's Marianne Nichols. She lived here before to move into the Peabody building. With our family. Cool. I'll show you the answer. Oh. What is it? I think I got mixed up. Hold on. Right, I think I've got... let's guess again. This one is to rent. I think I've got mixed up. We had one to buy on the same street, and I've actually selected the one to rent. So I'll tell you, the one to buy was actually 620,000. But for rent, how much would you pay monthly? For the full flat, for the 4 bedrooms, how much would you pay? So we're now looking for a monthly rent. Sorry about that. For the 3 bedroom. I don't know how I got mixed up, but we had 2 on this flat. I only selected 1 on this road, so. $2,800. Yeah, Amanda, you're quite spot on. You know what? I'll show you. I think you guys are getting very good at this game. I'll show you. It's 2,550 for the full flat. Oh, Tish, very close as well. Very close. Well done. So yeah, it is indeed Polly Nichols that lived here. She, to be honest, when she lived here, she wasn't doing too badly, because she, you know, at the time the well-being of the family really depended on how many working men you had in the family. At that point, she had a brother, a husband, and a dad that were working, and only 2 kids. 1 passed away, I think, so they were not doing too bad. But when she started to have more and more children, that's when her financial situation went down even more. Anyway, we have another flat share here. And it's just in this little building here. It's the room at the top. This is actually a good price because the bills are included. So bills included, it's a 4-bedroom flat. So we're looking for a monthly rent for only 1 bedroom. So you'll be living there with 3 flatmates. Let me show you the inside. So it's not a very large room. So we're looking for a monthly rent for 1 little bedroom in a 4-bedroom flat share. That one was too modern for you. Well, this one is not. This one is more. So how much would you pay? 1,200, 1,100. Oh, it's less, guys. Less. This one is actually a good deal because all the bills are included. Mark, you're quite spot on. Linda, you're very close as well, very, very close. So yeah, that's actually not bad at all. It's really rare now to find a bedroom that is less than 900 in this area, plus bills included. That's very nice. It's rare. There might be something wrong, like humidity or something. Yeah. If I was looking for a place, I would consider it. Anyway, let me remove the photos. Straight ahead, this is the Aylesbury estate. You might have heard of the estate. It's the most infamous council estate in Great Britain, really. And it's also it was in its heyday, the largest in Western Europe. But let me not tell you too much about the estate now, because we're actually going to go inside. This is phase 2, because it's all going to be knocked down very, very soon. Those guys are phase 3. So they still have a few years. I'll take you to the building the part of the estate that is going to be knocked down very, very quickly. See the new build there? They've already been built on top of the estate. So the destruction and rejuvenation has already started. Let me show you. It's quite a contrast with those. You've got those lovely little Georgian and Victorian streets that Polly Nichols would have probably walked into, right next to the quite grey, quite ugly, I guess we can say, council estate, and the new build right next to it. Prices are similar than one time. So yes, actually, I think they're quite. Although we are much more central, let's say it didn't have the best reputation. It's not still today. It's not the safest area. To give you an idea, where we started on Trafalgar Street, I met some people that were burglared very recently. They were inside. They forgot to lock the door, but they were sleeping inside. They know exactly what time they were burglared because they stole the internet modem. So they know what time the internet got disconnected. And the burglars don't care. They'll get in even if you're inside, you know. And of course, we're right next to the Aylesbury estate. So it's not, it didn't have the best reputation. I do feel quite safe today. I mean, I live 5 minutes away and I never feel unsafe, but yeah. Hello, night owl. So, I told you we'll mention a few amazing ladies of history. Well, there's a new library here. All this new block. This is very new, very, very new. I think there's no one inside quite yet. And the library has just opened. It's named after a lady called Una Marson. She was one early black feminist and political activist, really. She was the first black lady hired by the BBC. She was born in Jamaica in 1905, and she she was a writer there. She was actually middle class. At the time, Jamaica was, it was part of the British Empire, and people there were treated as British subjects, So this is the Una Marson Library. So brand new, all freshly opened. And it's a great choice to have chosen Una, because when she moved to, there's a portrait of her at the back. I'm not gonna get in, but this is Una at the back there. Let me zoom in a bit. There she is. Yep. So yeah, she started working as a writer on a poet in Jamaica. She actually had her own magazine that she published there. And in 1932, she came to London, and well, she had a bit of a shock. She did not expect the level of racism that she was going to experience here. So her writings kind of changed. She was suddenly writing as a black woman. Sorry, it's very windy. It might move the gimbal a bit. And this is again the Aylesbury estate. This is going to be knocked down. They've got a few months, I think. So yeah, suddenly our poems were really exposing the level of racism and segregation that she experienced here between the wars. For example, she wrote one called, I think it's called Little Brown Girl, when she says the little girl meets someone on the street and they're like, "Oh, you speak English very well, like if you owned it." I mean, yes, she owns it, And another poem called With the N-Word. So yeah, very interesting writing. And in a way, we've evolved a lot, but not so much, She has another poem about going to the cinema. Because at the time you'd go to the cinema and everyone was white, So the mummy is telling the little girl, "I'll let you go to the cinema when you can see some black beauties as well." And anyway, interesting lady, and she ended up being a radio producer at the BBC through the times of World War II. So quite astonishing, from a young lady from the colonies to be able to take a role in such an iconic British institution. So yeah, I'm glad the library is named after her. And let me tell you about the estate. So this is still the Aylesbury estate. It was in its heyday about, I think it's 60 acres. It is huge. It was built fairly quickly and probably not with the best materials between 1967 and 1977, and we never knew how many people exactly lived in. There were about 2,700 flats, so that's between 7,000 and 10,000 people in total. We never knew exactly how many, and let's say it's been used for many years as an example of failure of the social housing in this country, failure of the government. In '97, Tony Blair came here to do his first speech. He called it "The Forgotten People." Let me cross over. I'll show you a photo, I think. Do I have Tony Blair? Let me see. I think I've got a photo of Tony. Oh no, I don't think I've... Let me see. Where is he? Where are you, Tony? I've lost... Oh, there he is. There he is. So he's one of those little balconies there giving his speech. Tony Blair was quite harsh about the estate. He said the main employer here was the drug industry, and we are gonna sneak inside. But before we go, let me show you in this part of the estate there, I'm not gonna show you the photographs because I did find a bedroom to rent, but when it's a bedroom in a social block, I don't want to show you the photos because we never know, it could be illegal. I mean, some people own their flat, so they can of course rent a room, but if you live in a social housing and you don't have any permission, special permission from your housing association, you're not allowed to rent the bedroom. So I'm not going to show you, but there's one there that was 790 pounds. I think that's quite a lot to live in the Aylesbury estate. There may have been a mistake because the ad actually said per week. It cannot possibly be per week. It's a monthly one, but yeah. Were the people going to be rehoused? Well, Teresa, let me explain what happened first. Because basically they had a plan that came out in 2001. They were gonna, they wanted to knock it all down, rebuild, and instead of being run straight by the council, it would be run by a housing association. And let's go inside. If we run into anybody, we'll have to pretend to be from the BBC. So yeah, they wanted to knock it all down. They had a plan, and they actually asked the local residents if they were happy with it. So they were gonna knock down everything, rebuild some new flats, and do some private ones as well. So the money they'll get from the private ones that were gonna be sold was gonna be reinvested into the new flats. And they asked the local resident to vote. 76% took part, they voted. 73% voted no. So that didn't go down, and so I'm a bit out of breath because we're gonna have to go through a few floors. So that didn't develop, and some people actually bought, since Margaret Thatcher, they created what they call the right to buy. So some people actually bought their apartments, their social housing. They became owner, and the thing is, they said no, so that was not going to happen. The next thing you know, 4 years later, in 2005, the Southwark Council decided to knock it down anyway, despite the vote. So yes, people were going to be rehoused, but some people just refused to go. So the people that were owners, we're talking about 500 flats that had been bought. They had to be compulsory purchased by the council and at their price. And some of the local residents obviously were not happy because the price were, well, one of them in particular I read about was 180,000, which is like a third of the price value of a flat in this area. So some refused to go. It's a bit scary to be here. You see, they're all blocked up because all those people have already been evicted. But some refused, so they've managed to delay the project so much. To give you we are now in phase 2, so this should be knocked down in a few months. In phase 2, you still have, well, I've seen an article from 2 months ago, you still have about 60 flats out of 370, 60 flats where people are still inside. They're refusing to leave. So they live in terrible condition with some squatters as well, some big power cut, and some water leaks and everything. They're just fighting for their right to stay, but it's it's not going to happen. When Southwark wants to destroy something, they will. I've actually been into one flat here on this side, and to be honest, it wasn't too bad. Let me show you. I've got a photo of a lady that was refusing to go. That's actually very nice. I mean, they have amazing windows. Some of them have an amazing view. Hi, Tariq. And So yeah, it's very sad now, but it's probably wasn't always too bad. But apparently, they so basically there were some leaks that were untraceable. Every time the council wanted to fix it, they couldn't even figure out where the water was coming from. So it's gonna have to, they knew that it was gonna have to come down eventually. Let's go down as well. We're gonna have to go down. And so yeah, it's meant to be destroyed. Let me show you. It's a ghost town. All of this is meant to be knocked down in a few months. So we see one flat across the park here. That's drying some stuff. So there's a few flats that still have people. The rest of it is all empty. And the new development, it's gonna be, so the new plan now has been given to a different housing association called the Notting Hill Association. Look at the view with the Shard. And they're gonna rebuild 4,000 flats. So it's about almost 50% more than they used to be, but only a third of them are gonna be social housing. So we're talking about 1,300 flats, when it used to be 2,700 before. So it's a worse deal, and most people have been rehoused by now in terms of the social tenant. My understanding is that the last few that are still here, it's because they refused what they were offered. Oh, there's someone behind me. I'm gonna. I suppose if. Oh, look, we could interview them. I did once come into a flat here, but at the time I didn't quite realize it wasn't someone I knew very well, so I didn't really dare to ask any question about their housing situation. But there are still a few people. I think someone has heard me, so he's come out. But I suppose I should have approached him and asked some questions, but you never know if they're going to be friendly or not. Anyway, let's go back down. So that's quite cool. You can see how it's a bit grim, really, but inside the flats they have a lot of light, and some of them have an amazing view. So I don't think it was that bad. There was a politician, a Tory politician, that called it hell's waiting rooms. I don't think so. I think it's not too bad. Run. No, that's okay. I'll survive. I'm not gonna be knifed here. Well, if I did, I mean, there are a lot of witnesses, so I've got a lot of you that could take a screenshot. Anyway, let's go back down and take a good look, because it's probably one of the last time you see this building. We'll have a little skyscraper, 26th floor, and a lot of new flats in a few years. At the moment, it's meant to be all done, so we're talking the full estate rebuilt in 2032. But we never know. I mean, the local residents have already managed to delay everything for 15 years. So if they really refuse to go, I mean, at some point, there's not much you can do. You cannot destroy it when people are there, A lot of them have already been rehoused, and eventually they'll manage. The council here, they've redone a lot around Elephant and Castle. It's all new built now, and they've managed to get everyone out everywhere else. So there's no reason why they're not gonna manage here. And who did I miss? I think a few people came in. So welcome everyone that just joined. And let's go towards the Old Kent Road. So I call it the Old Kent Road because if you don't say the, people are going to think you're probably not from here. It's actually called Old Kent Road, but everyone calls it the Old Kent Road, like the Strand. The Strand is actually called Strand, but everyone calls it the Strand. And It's actually one of the oldest roads in the country. It's a Roman road, but apparently there was already a Celtic pass down this way, because it's the road down to Canterbury and Dover. And so if you want to go to the continent, you know, you have to go through there. A lot of people coming and going from the continent, like Charles II, when he came back from his 10 years of exile in France, he came back up through the Old Kent Road, and we had for many years, of course, a lot of pilgrims going to Canterbury, because it was a big pilgrimage road from St Mary Overy's, known as Southwark Cathedral today, and Canterbury, so they'll go down this road. You were asked to do a tour of a Starbucks. Well, why not? You can definitely hear. Yeah, we're back on. So yeah, I think Emma was asking about the tube earlier. The closest tube station, it's as well. Right, we should be back. So yeah, about the underground, they have some plans of enlarging the Bakerloo line. So one day the Bakerloo line further. I've got a flat here to buy. It's a 3-bedroom flat. Let me show you. Oh no! Oops. A room flat right here. I'm gonna move so the signal might be a bit better a bit further down. 3-bedroom, around 20k exactly, which, to be honest, it's not a bad price. Why is my transmission unstable? I'll show you the price again. I don't understand why I keep losing the signal. Well, it could just be a bad signal, but it went from very good to on and off. Anyway, hopefully it'll be better at the end of the road. That's where we get to finally to the Old Kent Road. And across the street here, I have a flat share for you. Again, I don't know which one, because they are all the same. And I didn't have a photo of the outside, so I don't know. Good now, perfect, good. So hopefully we've escaped the bad signal area and we should be good now. So 1 bedroom to share in a flat of 2. So it's like the first one we saw earlier. Again, not my type of flat, because I wouldn't want to live with only one stranger. But yeah, if that was your type of thing, let me show you the photos. There we go. It looks like they're sponsoring Netflix. So yeah, 1 bedroom to share the flat with another person, a stranger, and we're looking for a monthly rent. So how much would you pay monthly to live here? Tariq says 900. You're not too far, but it's a bit more. So a little bit more than 900. Tish Linda, a little bit more. Genevieve says 1,400. Amanda, you're very, very close. Laurie says 1,000. Rose says 1,400 as well. Linda, very close as well. Yeah, it seems quite new. It seems like everything's been redone. So that's Rose, very, very close as well. Let me show you the answer. There we go. So 1,210. So yeah, it's a lot, but it is the prices for if you want a flat that is new. Yeah. And if you live with someone that is nice, it's not bad to be sharing with a friend. But the thing is, when you take the room, you never know if they're going to become a friend or not. And if they don't, it can be horrible, you know, to to share a flat with one person that is I mean, I've had a lot of flatmates in the last 16 years, And I can tell you, I've lived with a few nutter, and I was happy it was not only the two of us in the flat. So yeah, it could go very well, and it could go quite bad as well. Yeah, oh, you should rethink your spare room. Absolutely, Linda. You can make a bit of money out of it. Anyway, let me show you, just for a laugh, another one that is meant to be a studio flat. And I don't know where. Where are we? Yeah. So apparently, according to the ad, this is a studio flat here on this street. Now, I can tell you, I've been studying all the windows on this street. I did not find any that matched. So I think the pin drop is not correct. How much would you pay for a studio flat on this street? I actually saw it. I was like, yeah, I should take it. I've never seen a studio flat that is that cheap. The cheapest studio that I found, since I do those Monopoly tours, was actually 1,100. It was also on the Old Kent Road, but it was quite bad, very dark, and on the ground floor. It's not necessarily an area when you want to be on the ground floor. And when I saw this one, I was like, thank you, Genevieve, exactly. So I clicked on it. I was like, wow, if it's that price, I should take it. I'll show you the answer because it's not. Rose, Mike, Tish. Well, Rose, Mike, if it was a bad studio flat here, that'd actually be the price. Ronnie, that could be the price, yeah. But let me show you because it's not actually a studio flat. Then you click on the ad. It says, on a studio flat inside a 4-bedroom home. So it's not a studio. If you have to share the kitchen with 4 flatmates, it's not a studio. It's called an en-suite. So big fat lie, and it's not even here. So it's probably, I don't know what they're hiding, but it's not on this street and it's not a studio. That's the little tricks they do to make you click sometimes, but it's not a studio. Yeah, somnifaire. It would be, if it was an actual studio, that'd be the price here, yeah. Anyway, straight ahead, finally, that is the Old Kent Road. So, big road today, so that's why we're not going to stay too long on it. The main attraction on the Old Kent Road, we're not actually going to go because it's all the way up. It is a guy that lives in a skip. It's an art project. He wanted to highlight the ridiculous prices to live in London, so he lives in a skip. Again, I'm not going to show you because it's a good 15-minute walk. It's a long street. But if you want to see him, I've actually met him. So if you go into my shorts on YouTube, I have a short where I met him. We are going to take a right because we're going to go and take a look at a pub. And it is a very historical pub. It's no longer a pub today, it's a Vietnamese restaurant. It used to be known as Thomas a Becket. Not Thomas Becket, Thomas a Becket. Because it refers to a spot that was here known as Thomas a Watering. Because back in the day, that was the road that the pilgrims would take to go to Canterbury. And we had a lost river here. A little river that's an arm of the Peck. You might know the lost River Peck that gave its name to Peckham. So people on their way to Canterbury would stop here to give water for the horses in the Peck. And so it was always a very busy spot, and it was the end of the jurisdiction as well for the City of London. After that, you were really in Kent. And the spot was also used for executions. In the 16th century, you had a lot of executions of religious execution, whether it was Catholics or even Protestant. We had one famous. So not only were they executed right here, but they'll also be placed in a gibbet. You know, like the cages for the pirates. We talked about gibbets in the past. We actually even have a link to the Mayflower here. One Protestant separatist was executed right here, at the time of Queen Elizabeth I. He was, his name was John Penry. He was placed in a gibbet right here, but before to be killed from the prison, he sent a letter to his followers telling them they should immigrate, they should leave this kingdom. And of course, you might know what happened after that. Some of those separatist Puritans, they went to the Netherlands, they went to Leiden, and then eventually they decided to go to America on a ship, the Mayflower. Now, as we mentioned, it's very noisy, so I'll show you the pub and then I'll tell you a bit more about the pub from the park. But I can tell you already, it's got ghosts, it's got boxing history, it's got Jack the Ripper history, and guess what? It's got a bedroom up there. It's a haunted place to live. Let me show you the bedroom. So it's again a flat share. Where are we? Let me show you the photos. Oops, I didn't mean to move the photo. Sorry, my fingers are a bit frozen, so I'm doing rubbish. Oops, stay there. Well done. Right, so it's up there, and we're looking for a monthly rent. So you'll be living with a few flatmates, with a terrace at the top, a few ghosts, apparently quite a few ghosts, and we're looking for a monthly rent. So again, the pub is full of history, but I'll tell you when we go to the park, because it's a bit noisy here. So we're looking for a monthly rent in this historical location. 800, says Linda. It's a little bit more. You hope the ghost pays its share. Yeah, well, I hope so too, but I don't think they're very present anymore. I think it's back in the day. 1,500, says Tish. 1,200, says Tariq. 1,125, says Rose. It's a little less. Somnifer, you're quite spot on. 1,200, 500, says Linda. It's not too far either. Let me show you the photo. Ronilyn, I think with Somnifer you're the closest so far. Let me show you the answer. Where are we? There we go. So 1,000 exactly. So, to be honest, for a bedroom with a modern bathroom, a bathroom to share, but it looks modern, on a roof terrace, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's probably very noisy, because the Old Kent Road is a very noisy road, but it's not bad. It is really the prices. Oops. So we'll leave the Old Kent Road because, as you can see, it's busy, and we'll go into the park. So the pub itself, in 1888, there was a customer apparently that left a bag, a very shiny bag. Inside there was a pair of very curious long scissors, a dagger, and a very sharp knife. The man was arrested in relation to the Whitechapel murders. That's all I know. I find the story a bit funny because there's no name. I found this story in many different sources, but they never said the name of the suspect. So if indeed he was still a Jack the Ripper suspect, why don't we have a name? So anyway, at least that's what the pub claims. It's that the gentleman was arrested. He was probably then found innocent quite quickly, but yeah. Furniture store. Oh, you got an ad. Well, actually, there probably are a few furniture stores on this road. The rest of the Old Kent Road is, do you have a lot of big shops, like B&Q, Asda, McDonald's? It's not very, it looks like you're on a big road outside of town, really. Anyway, we are now in Burgess Park. Burgess Park, it's an interesting park because it was not a cemetery or anything, as opposed to many of our parks. This used to be built up. There were a lot of Victorian streets here. We've literally knocked them down to do a park. And exactly, Mike, Henry Cooper. So basically, above the pub, there was a little gym, and it was used for boxers to train. So some very famous boxers came here, including Muhammad Ali, and Henry Cooper was the manager at some point, and what's the American one? Joe Fraser as well, or Frazier, I don't know how you pronounce it. But yeah, very famous boxers came to train above the pub, and some people also came to rehearse, including someone that you might have heard of, David Bowie. Apparently, he came here to rehearse Ziggy Stardust and other songs. So quite a famous landmark, really. And it's always been an important spot, for the executions, for the watering of the horses, then the pub. So it's often forgotten, but really quite an important pub. Oh, and the ghost, I forgot to tell you about the ghost. So yes, apparently, according to one of the landlords, he could never sleep alone in the pub. He was just petrified. And he was obviously telling his customers that about the ghost. And some customers started to take bets. They were like, yeah, I don't care, I'm not scared of ghosts. One of the customers actually made fun of, well, I don't know what he exactly said, but he spoke about derogatory terms about the paranormal. And apparently the moment he said that, like, oh, it's all rubbish, boom, his glass fell out of his hands. So some people thought it was the ghost being all offended. And apparently there were two gentlemen that took the bet. They were like, yeah, I'm not scared of ghosts, I'll sleep up there. One was gone in 15 minutes, and the other one, a butcher, that was like, yeah, I'll take the bet, I'll go and sleep up there. He actually came back down straight away and ran out of the pub. So that might have been massively exaggerated, but that's the story. Sometimes the pubs, they actually use the ghost as marketing. The thing that I find quite interesting is that the pubs that are often very haunted, like the Viaduct Tavern, there's an underwater stream running underneath the building. So, because here you still have the Lost River, the little arm of the Peck, it still runs underground. So could it be the water? Maybe the water noise or vibration or whatever it might be? I don't know. Some say that it might even be the magnetic fields of the water that wake up the ghost. I don't know. Anyway, you have a few of those interesting little homes in the park. This one I might be able to afford. I don't know how much you'd have to pay to live in this one. They are there to symbolize all the victims of bombing. I think it's 19th of October 1917. So through the First World War, there was a bomb that was dropped with zeppelins on top of the streets here. So again, at the time we didn't have a park; it was streets. And at the street corner, you had a fish and chips shop and a doctor's surgery, and quite a few flats. And the fish and chip had already closed. They closed at 10:30 and it was 11:30. There was a young girl, a staff, she was upstairs counting the money. And some of the neighbors had heard some noise and they came to shelter in the basement of the doctor's surgery when the bomb was dropped, and it basically destroyed everything. Some of the kids in the basement survived. Some of the police officers were extremely brave and they ran into the basement to save the kids, despite the risk of everything falling down. One of the kids that was saved, her name was Greta. She actually lived 101 years. Through World War II, she joined Women Auxiliary Air Forces. But yeah, there were, I think it's 10 dead and 24 badly injured. So that's why they've placed those little buildings in the park to remember the one that were that lost their life in the bombings. And the park itself, it's got an interesting history. So you had a lot of homes here, but a lot of them had become slums. And of course you had the bombing from the First World War. There were a lot of factories as well that were getting disused. You even had a canal. So the lake itself, it's artificial now. They've used the water from the little underground river to supply the lake, but it's been dug up. And so yeah, this was all built up, although it was getting very old. And there's a lady, Jessie Burgess, that's Burgess, sorry, so that's why it's called Burgess Park. She's actually my neighbor. If I was born 100 years ago, she'd be my neighbor, because she lived in the Peabody building on Camberwell Green, so it's literally just next to me. She was the first Lady Mayor of Camberwell. And Camberwell, so at the time Camberwell was a borough. You might know we had in 1965 some of the boroughs were matched together. So Camberwell, Bermondsey and Southwark became Southwark. And so she did a lot through the Second World War. She did a lot to rehome a lot of the victims of the bombings and all that. And then she wanted to create an open space here, a large open space. It was known as the Abercrombie Project, and that was unseen before. I don't think there's anywhere else in the UK where we have a park that has been made out of destroying urban area. Usually you have a park that used to be private land and then became public, or you have a park that used to be a graveyard and then they removed the graves. Actually, I'm lying. A little proportion of the park used to be a graveyard next to the church over there, but we're talking a tiny little bit. And destroying streets to create an open space, it was very new, and some people were completely against it, of course, so they had to fight for the project. Originally it wasn't named after Jessie. They only called it Burgess Park in the 70s, I think. It was a 50 years project, because of course the council again had to compulsory buy some accommodations. This is still the Aylesbury estate we see from here. And so of course it took a while to get people out of their homes, even if they were slums. And they actually, that's quite sad, but the canal is gone. They say it's not the council, it was the Port of London Authority, because they couldn't really manage it. But it's not fair, because in North London you have a lot of canals that are not really used. It would be cool to have the canal here as well, but they've filled it up. Apparently when they filled it up, they found a lot of items, guns and safe from burglaries and stuff. And so yeah, no more canal. Some say that it's also a risk for the kids playing in the park, but if they can fall in the canal, they can also fall in the lake. So I don't really take that. Sorry, hi Natalie. And I think at the time it was called the Northern Camberwell Open Space, before to be called Burgess Park. And it's one of the only parks in London where you can cycle everywhere. Because some of the royal parks and all the other parks, it's like you're not meant to be on a bicycle. To be fair, sometimes some bicycles go very fast when you have kids playing in the middle of the way, so it's good for me because I cycle a lot, but I don't know if everyone loves it. And it's still, so you don't have a lot of large or old trees because it's still quite plain, because again it was built up before. And apparently they're still open to suggestion, because it is a little bit plain. You have a BMX bicycle track, you have a tennis court, but there's still a lot of space here. So yeah, when they were fighting for the project, they even had to do badges. Let me show you the badge. So that's that was to convince the local population. And let me show you the map. I think I've got a map. Yeah. So see the area before, completely built up. So you can see the canal, you can see all those streets, and they've destroyed all of that to make the park. The park still has a funny shape because on both the east and the west there were a couple of Victorian streets that they were fighting to save. So they're still here today. So you have it's got a funny shape. Let me show you the Aylesbury estate again from here, so you can see how big it is really. And it's it's probably the most famous estate in the UK. It's been visited by King Charles when he was the Prince of Wales. Even William came on a geography trip with Eton College in 1999, I think. Geography lesson, the biggest council estate in Western Europe. But yeah, soon you'll have a big 26 floor skyscraper here instead of the building. And I think I forgot to show you the pub. I had a photo. So I say it's a very old pub, but they've changed it a lot from the photo at the top. It's the time of Jack the Ripper, well, I think 1890s, and this is what the pub looks like now. So they've changed it a lot, but still interesting. Yep. Ooh, it's windy. Anyway, guys, it's gonna be the end of the tour. Let me know if you have any questions before we go. If not, thank you for coming today. If you want to see a bit more of me, in 2 hours we'll be throwing the dice to find out which Monopoly location we'll explore next time. And I think I might have... Oh, no, good. The chat was... Have I done Notting Hill? No, you know what? I've never done a tour there. I probably should. Yeah. And I think there's also a few murders over there, so maybe I probably should. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks, Emma. Oh, thanks, Diane. And hopefully I'll see some of you in 2 hours for the dice rolling. And I've not scheduled anything yet for next week, but I'll probably be doing a tour next week. And I've scheduled Jack the Ripper again, so that's in a couple of weeks. So if you've missed that one, it's on the 24th, I think. Thank you, Natalie. Thanks everyone for your support. If you dropped me a little tip on Buy Me a Coffee or on PayPal, that's very much appreciated. And if you were completely new to me, hopefully you'll subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on the fun next time. Oh, Mel, that's absolutely fine. You can say hi anytime. If I'm busy, I might not reply, but feel free to chat in. I don't get too distracted by the chat. If it's a very long message, I might be like, oh, I have to ignore it for now. But if you say hello, I really don't mind. Yeah. Oh, was it your birthday, Linda? Well, happy birthday. Sorry, I didn't, I don't know if you've mentioned it, but I didn't know. Happy birthday. Glad you spent it with us. And hope you celebrate a bit more tonight. Cool. Thank you for coming, guys. Have a good evening or good morning, whatever time it is for you. Leytonstone. Oh, maybe. And I'll see you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.